And then go live on Instagram. All right, here we go. Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome back to Comics for All. Today is March 1st, Sunday, so we get to do a rare interview on a Sunday, which is awesome. But this is Comics for All, where comics, creativity, and community all connect. My name is Jameson, your host here at Comics for All. I'm a comics librarian. As part of our weekly Ink and Insight segment, we get to interview comic creators from all over the place. And today we have the wonderful Samuel Vera here with us. Samuel, thank you so much for taking time to come on the show. Glad to see you.
Yes, I'm glad to be here. I'm excited.
Me too. Actually, I'm glad to kind of see you face to face finally. We get to dive into comics and everything that is part of the creation process. But since we're a reader centric channel, I got to start off with what hooked you into comics as a reader?
My mom, when I was a kid, she used to read the digest version of Archie comics. They were like the small digest, and that was my introduction into comics, and I fell in love with it, and that was the beginning of my comic journey.
Love that.
Yeah.
How old were you at the time? Do you remember?
Oh, probably like 7.
7 or 8?
That was like, yeah, around that time. Yeah.
Love that. And then kind of a follow up to that is when did you realize for yourself you wanted to be part of the comics community? A young person, more of an adult, or kind of where did that realization come for you?
In my day, there was a TV show called Too Close for Comfort,
Aha.
and the father was a comic strip artist, and he created a comic strip called Cosmic Cow, and that was the first time I asked my mom. I was like, "Wait, he's an adult, and he's drawing comics," and that was the first time I put the two. I connected the two, a human being to the actual craft, and I was like, "Oh, you can make a living in doing this," and that was the beginning of me wanting to do it for real.
Very nice. So another kind of reader centric question I have. I know not everyone has the time to read, but if you have gotten to read something recently ish, either indie or major, that's kind of stuck with you, is there any recommendations you can share?
I haven't. I have a pile of.
Me too.
I have a pile because I backed a lot of Kickstarters. That's why I have a pile of books that I have to read. But I'm actually reading a non-comic book related book
Okay.
called "Your Wish Is Your Command." It's really about the power of projection and your thoughts, how it manifests
Ooh.
reality. So I'm reading that, but yeah, I have a ton of unopened boxes and boxes that I opened that I lined them up to read them one at a time once I get to
There
it.
you go. Do you find yourself having to make time to read sometimes?
Yeah, that's the hard part, because I have a full-time job and I usually up around 4:30 in the morning.
Whew.
I get up at 4:30 in the morning. I give my dogs their snacks. I take my pre-workout drink, and then I sit at the draft table and I start drawing I work on one of the pages for the book. Then I work out, and then I hit the table and I start promoting it before I leave to work. And I start going on social media and promoting the project that I'm working on. Then I go to work all day. Then I come back. I have dinner with my wife, and I sit down at the draft table and I'm drawing until I fall asleep. So it's just a routine. So sometimes I don't even watch. It's hard for me to watch television. The time I sit down to go and watch something with my wife, I fall asleep within 15 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
So I can't. I don't even have the attention span to sit down and watch something, and I have to force myself to like go and sit down and actually read something.
Understood. I'm kind of the same way sometimes. I feel the audiobooks are the worst. Audiobooks will make me fall asleep within like minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
So, Samuel, for new viewers out there who haven't come across you and your work before, how do you introduce yourself as a comic creator, and what is Crazee Comics all about?
Crazy comics. Well, I'm a creator. I'm a dreamer, and I'm known for Crazy Comics. I launched Crazy Comics in 2003. It was my introduction to the comic world, and that's when I debuted Cosmic Wars back in 2003. So there's an original version of Cosmic Wars from back then,
Wow.
and been making comics since. And Crash the Craze is an extension of Crazy Comics, is my podcast. And I created it in 2005 when there was nothing for the independents.
Right.
Everything was for the mainstream. You had Comic Geek Speak was focusing on DC and Marvel, And so I saw a lane and, took advantage of it. And we were the first independent comic book podcast and the longest running independent comic book podcast in the
Hey,
game.
hey.
And so we wanted to support the guys and girls that we work with and that we run into at conventions. And I've been creating comics ever since. And then I left the game in 2008 for about 10 years. And then I came back around 2019.
Okay. Excuse me. So now we're going to delve a little bit into your creative journey and kind of the elements of what makes your creative DNA. Another interview, Color of Comics, talks about you deciding to create your own comics after being challenged as a kid to stop drawing other people's characters.
Yeah.
What did that particular challenge unlock inside of you?
I am a competitor by nature, and I'm an optimist too. And I don't believe that. I think the only, I guess, roadblocks or restraints are the ones that you create for yourself. So when I was told
Excellent.
that I was a kid, when I was told that you want to amount to a true artist because you're copying, because I used to take my GI Joe action figures and I would draw them. I would, back in the days we had VCRs. I would pause the VCR and draw what I saw on TV.
Yeah.
And then that just, it pissed me off. And I said, after I was done sulking for 15 minutes, because I give myself 15 minutes to get it out of my system. And then I just said, all right, how do I start creating from my imagination? And that's when it began.
Love that.
Yeah.
So the podcast you get to run is called Catch the Craze.
Yeah.
And it's giving you kind of a front row seat to how other indie creators kind of, like you mentioned, hustle and have to do all the things. What's a lesson or two from interviewing other creators that have actually applied to your own launches and your own creative work, if you can share those?
See, it varies, because there's a lot of similarities, and there's that rare few that you run into that really like excite you.
Yes.
There's a guy named Kevin Rodatelli. He was so inspiring because his drive and ambition far just surpassed the creativity, right? And I think it starts there, right? It's the dream and the passion. And he had that same, it reminded me of why I started in the game. It reminded me of the younger Sam, right? And so he inspired me. And then there are people who get creative on social media. A newbie. Her name is Lori Calcaterra. She's so creative with what she does with her podcast and all of the characters that she creates and what she does to try to market herself. I thought, she approached it from an angle that suits her perfectly. It's very inspiring. But I get inspired from everything, and I take a lot of little tidbits here and there. But there's also a lot of lessons, like, right, there's some things that you want to avoid, right? It's like,
Yeah.
Don't go promoting something that you're not going to finish, right? And I think that's I see a lot of that, I think, aspiration and reality sometimes don't mesh well, right? So I think a lesson that's global is that if you're going to do anything, make sure you secure the foundation and you understand the sacrifices that's required of you, right? Because if you're going to lean into something which requires a lot of your time, that means something has to sacrifice, whether it's playing video games or hanging out with your friends or whatever it is. It's got to be minimum. It's got to be minimum. You can still do it, but you got to reduce the amount of time you would do that because you're investing in something that can change your life potentially if you do it right.
That's right. And for the viewers out there in the chat, I put Samuel's website, the dutiesworld.com. So check that out. It's a fantastic site. You can check out all the stuff. So now the main reason we are actually here today is to do a deep dive on Cosmic Wars, Guardian of the Arthenian Star, which is your current Kickstarter campaign going on, which I'll put up here in just a moment. So if you can, introduce us to Gorf, the Guardian of the Arthenian Star, and who is he at the start of issue 0, and kind of what is his conflict and what's going on?
Well, Gorf, I created when I was a kid. I think I was 12 years old when I created him. And he was originally my imaginary friend, and his name was Scrungy. And so and at that time, he looked like half Stay Puft Marshmallow Man and half Alf. And then I wanted to make him a hero, and it was too close for comfort. I love the title Cosmic in front of the name of the character, so I wanted, I changed the name Scruffy to Gorf, and I named him Cosmic Gorf. And then it started with, I wanted him to look the part of a hero. And
Right.
so, when I was younger, my mom used to read the Fabio fantasy novels, and
Ooh,
Fabio,
okay.
yeah, Fabio had the luscious hair, right?
Yeah.
And I was a big Conan fan, and so Conan the Barbarian, so he had this big, beautiful sword, and he was very powerful looking, and and then you could see the influences from like Jim Henson because he has a Fraggle Rock ish look to him, right?
Yes, very much
So,
so.
so all of those influences as a kid just you put them all together. It's like a bowl of goulash, and then Gorf came out of that. So basically, he is the protectee of the Athenian star and the guardian of the kingdom of Crystallia. And issue 0 starts with um, there was a great battle, and King Neptune, which Gorf was sworn to protect, who was the king of Crystallia, fell in the great battle, but Gorf didn't get there on time, and so
Hmm.
Gorf blames himself for it, and so he went into self-inflicted exile. So now by doing so, he doesn't realize he's put the entire universe at risk, right? Because now the Arthenian star is in jeopardy, and so Lord Evil is now plotting to take over and gain possession of it. And by proxy, Princess Reina has now become the ruler of Crystallia, but there's never been a ruler because she's the daughter of Neptune, and there's never been a female ruler before. So
Got it.
she's having challenges. She's facing challenges with that. And then there's a pirate overlord named Zarkinar who also wants the Arthenian star. So the enemies are at the gates. And Captain M3, who's the captain of her royal guard, doesn't believe she needs Gorf, and he believes that he has the foundation to protect the kingdom, but she believes otherwise. So
Okay.
she risks everything to go off on her own in search of Gorf, no matter how far or where it takes her, because she knows that without him, the universe is in peril. So that's where issue 0 begins.
Got it. And you mentioned, the original versions of it came out in 2003.
Yeah.
Kind of even further back from that, how long of a time period are you talking about from concepts in your head to even that 2003 version? How long of a time period between the initial ideas?
Well, it stayed true to the core because when I wrote Cosmic Wars before I even produced it, I wrote all the character bios, I wrote the history,
Oh, nice.
I wrote the entire universe. So when I decided to dig in the crates and pull it out of the abyss and redo it, I stood true to the DNA of the story, but I edited some things to close the gap on some opportunities that I've identified now versus then.
Got it.
And this is actually the book from 2003. This is original printing, issue 0, right here that I'm holding up from 2003. And uh,
Nice.
and so when we hit $2,000, I'm raffling this off to one of the backers, a lucky backer. So I have a backer reward, and this is full color gloss. Back in 2003, it was unheard of back then. Everybody was doing grayscale
I
and
was about to
accents.
say, yeah.
Yes, yes, and so. Um, Yes, to answer that, it stays true to the entire DNA because the history is written, but there are some new characters that I added into the series that'll be introduced in this new issue 0. Because the original issue 0 back in 2003 was only 16 pages. This one's going to be 30 pages. And because there's so much that I want to be able to introduce to really a couple things introduce you to the characters in the universe, the main players, but also hopefully you fall in love with one of the characters and you pick a side.
That's a good way to do it, to pitch it
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
So also for the viewers out there, I put the Kickstarter campaign link in the chat as well. So make sure to check that. There's only 2 weeks left. So make sure to take some time to go over there and even if it's just a share at the most, go ahead and at least share it for somebody. So every great space opera, something I really enjoy, has a core emotional question. Kind of what's the core emotional heartbeat of Cosmic Wars? What's the main theme for everybody to kind of delve into?
Freedom. I think it's freedom and prosperity.
Aha.
It's the theme of the entire, and it falls in the hands of Gorf and Princess Reina. She's unassuming. She plays a key role in how the universe will be defined for the future. But yeah, if I had to sum it up, it'd be freedom and prosperity.
That's awesome. That's a great way to put it. Let me get this up on this one too. Um, in terms of the the influences of where the writing and the story and the visuals come from. Are we talking more Mobius, classic kind of Marvel Cosmic, some anime thrown in? Kind of what are the influences of kind of the of everything? If you can kind of touch on that, 'cause I feel like you mentioned, there's a lot.
Yes, I mean, it's. I think we are all everything that we create as creatives is a byproduct of the things that influenced us throughout our journey, right? And so you can see it. I mean, I'm a big Conan fan, right?
Hmm.
You can see that. It's like Conan sitting on the throne, right? I'm a big anything Jim Henson. I'm a big fan of. I'm a big Star Wars fan. Um, you know, I I love Toy Stories and Buzz Lightyear, right? So there
Yes.
it's so for me, it's what I wanted to capture. Thank you for saying anime. What I'm trying to capture in my style in this series is number one, I want to attract gamers to this comic book. I
Yes.
want to attract anime fans to this comic book. I want it to be able to speak to a lot of different audiences. It's different from what's out there today.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that people are attracted to it and want to come along and at least give this issue a shot to determine if they want to stick around for the journey. And I guarantee you'll want to stick around.
Perfect. So, if we can talk a little bit about the campaign itself, we got 2 weeks left, and in terms of what's in issue zero, page count wise, and what other formats are available, and kind of some rewards and tiers, can you talk about what's available for folks?
Yeah, it's 30 pages. It may be more. We'll see what happens because I'm right now I'm in the middle of it and I'm having so much fun with it. So, and the good thing about illustrating to my own scripts is that I can add a couple of pages here and there. I can add an extra panel to accentuate a scene, or really. So there are no rules as an artist when I'm the writer behind it. So I can argue with
Right.
myself behind the scenes, and but the artist never, always wins. But this campaign, I have there's four covers. Two by me and two variant covers. One by Lou Pons, who's a fantastic illustrator,
Oh
and
yeah.
and she did an homage to Conan, Frank Frazetta's Conan, which is beautiful. And then there's another one by Marco DeFilo, who's done Path of the Pale Rider and a bunch of other indie comics. He did a cover of Gorf, and he has that anime style that sticks out. And there's also a sketch cover, so blank sketch cover. So you can get this
Ooh.
blank.
Okay.
Yes. So for all you artists out there that want to create your own renditions, there's the blank sketch cover edition as well. And um, I made I put out on the campaign that the first five people that added, because the sketch cover is an add-on, that added the blank sketch cover to your pledge, that those first five people will get a 5x7 original drawing by me. So far,
Aha.
in the first 48 hours, four people picked it up. There's only one left. So whoever that is, one more, that'll be five. Uh, there's for every physical backer gets a 4-inch sticker, which is Cosmic Guardians, Defender of Freedom. Right here is as big as my face.
Fantastic.
So every single backer, physical backer, will get this, and every backer who pledges at $25 and up will get this a limited edition Cosmic Gorf trading card as well. And every time we reach 20 backers, I raffle off something really cool. The last raffle, someone got the gold foil 10 pack of
Ooh.
forbidden cards. Um, and we are three backers away from the next raffle. So once we get to that, I'm hoping we get those three backers by Tuesday night when I go live on Cast of Craze, because we do the raffles every Tuesdays.
There you
Um,
go.
yeah, and then when we hit $2,000, then I will be raffling off this 2003 original Cosmic Wars first printing zero, which will be raffled and bagged and boarded and in premium condition. And I'm the only one with the last 10 copies in the world, which is pretty
Nice.
dope. And so there's a lot of fun on in this campaign. There's the trading card set. There's the covers. If we get to 50 backers, everybody will get a digital download of the Cosmic Wars sketch book
There we go.
with all the behind the scenes art. So I'm giving away a lot of stuff and I'm having fun with it. So yeah, so there's so much to it, but really it's the heart of the book, the story. I really want to get readers for this one. And and if you've picked up my books in the past, from There's an Alien in My Toilet to Forbidden, then you enjoyed them. I'm the same guy behind those, so trust me, you'll love this one.
Well, that goes really great into my next set of questions. It's kind of about the indie publishing scene and really just book promotion and marketing at this time. So as you just talked about, multiple campaigns, Forbidden, there's an Alien in My Toilet, and now Cosmic Wars. What's a lesson or two you've kind of learned along the way that you're now attempting to apply to this campaign?
Just finish. I think that's the biggest thing. It's don't put anything out there that you don't have ready to go,
Yes,
and be realistic with and don't overcommit and under deliver, right? And
that's a great way to put it. Yes,
I think that's the biggest thing. Be realistic. Like for instance, because I'm halfway through illustrating this, this will be shipped out in May, and it gives me time to determine whether or not it's going to be more than 30 pages. But I always meet my deadlines, and you'll always get it on time. And so if I gave you a time you're going to get it, you're going to get it. But I think that's the biggest thing. I think sometimes people go on and then don't create a Kickstarter campaign if with an unrealistic goal. I think
absolutely.
that's the biggest thing. I see newcomers come out and they put a $10,000 goal because they seen Brian Polito's doing $100,000 and they say, "Oh, I can do 10,000." No, you're not Brian Polito, right? So it's like
So true.
yes. And then I think the other thing, if you're going to do anything on crowdfunding, spend a few months just promoting with some teasers and building following and just
Those pre-launch people.
yes and talk to people and get feedback and and build excitement. Take a few months to build up the momentum before you actually hit that launch button. Some people just blindly just say, I'm going to create a Kickstarter, go live, and no one knows about it because you didn't promote it.
Yeah, and we were actually chatting about that before we went live. Is that a lot of creators now in 2026? Not only are you a full-time creator, but you're also a full-time marketer and promoter on top of that.
Yes.
So, looking at your catalog now, you got a little bit of everything: kids books, comedy, epic fantasy, cosmic war.
Yeah.
Um, for you as a creator and kind of your own imprint, what does a sustainable look like for you in this kind of next 3 to 5 years for you?
The next 3 5 years, right? It's finished Designated on My Toilet. Issue 8 comes out this summer. It's a 10-part series. So Forbidden is done. That one's going into the stores this summer. So working on that. Doing more commission covers. I have some covers coming out for other independents this year.
Nice.
Doing a lot of that stuff and just trying to just rebrand myself, not just as an independent creator of my own books, but being able to get my work out there, my name out there on other projects that I necessarily did not create. So doing that, and then really, I'm hoping the next 12 months positions me in a way that I can start really gaining momentum in the business where because my books will be nationally distributed and just really just where the demand is there, it becomes easier. Like I'm getting guest invites for conventions, but I want it to be bigger conventions. I get a lot of smaller ones, and
Right.
so really just working on Sam the artist, not just the brand. I've been very brand focused. I've been focused on Designated on My Toilet and just focusing on that, Forbidden, focusing on that, Cosmic Wars. But now really just getting Sam the artist and the creator out there, even if it's writing projects as well.
Yeah, exactly. You take on keep your skills sharpened, or even learn new ones in a
Yes.
sense. So a good question I haven't get to actually ask this question in quite a while, but say for example, you get to adapt one of your titles into an animation or even anime. How would anyone in particular you would want to direct or be an actor in it? Or even if it would you prefer it to be animated versus live action?
For Forbidden live action, for Gorf, it's got to be anime or even like what's his name? Jesus, he did he works with Johnny Depp a lot. He does puppeteers.
Mm,
What's his name? Frightmare Before Christmas or something like that. The Nightmare Before Christmas.
right.
what's the name of that director? Oh,
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton. I
Yeah, there
love
we
for
go.
him to do, because Jim Henson's no longer around. It would have been Jim Henson for
All
Cosmic
right.
Wars. But Tim Burton, I think I would love to see Tim Burton take on Cosmic Wars. Or even what's his name, Del Toro, Hellboy.
Oh, Guillermo del Toro.
Yes, yes. So for designated in my toilet, it would have to be like a Netflix or Prime, but no one specifically sticks out to for me as far as, but it would be cartoon wise. But Forbidden would be live action, and dang, who would I want to play Sin? That's a good
Well,
one.
that's actually a question. A question came to my mind on the back end. Is that is say like for example, like pitching to how do you approach a pitch differently of pitching a comic versus pitching a comic to be adapted into a different medium? How do you approach those pitches differently?
Here, that's a great question because I never considered a live action until you asked me this question just now.
Mhm.
My pitch decks are focused on cartoons. I even have the first episode for a cartoon series of Disney in my toilet written. And
Okay.
so I think I haven't considered a live action, but I'm working on um, a 1 minute pitch trailer to pitch to the new project acquisitions teams for different companies right now.
Got it. Okay. And then another kind of question on your own kind of creative process. Can you kind of walk us through a page of Cosmic Wars and kind of do you start with a script? Do you start with a layout? Do you do a
Uh,
complete outline? Kind of how does your process work for you?
Cosmic Wars. I started with him first. When I created a character, I said, "All right, I want him to be a hero," and I said, "Okay, so what's he protecting?" And I started asking questions. Okay, and it's got to be something meaningful. I said, "Oh, it's got to be a gem. Why the gem?" And then, what happens if it falls in the wrong hands? And so I started building from this. And then once I gave him a purpose, then I said, "All right, now I need his story. How
There
did
we
he
go.
become Gorf?" So I started working on his story, and you'll get elements of his history in this because he's mentored by a character named Professor Ramses, who raised him. And so then that was the thing, right? So I said, all right, let me give him his backstory. That's when Ramses came in.
Okay.
Ramses was the second, and then it was like, all right, you have the gem, and then all right, I need a kingdom, and that's when Crystalia came in, and then I started adding the princess and the father, and then I started building. So once I've had all the characters, all the players, and the support cast built, and I had their history, then I started plotting out what's going to happen. And then and then I started pacing it. What should happen first? What should happen second? What should happen third? And so I have the script, the worlds, the bios, all already in a binder, all already done, and I use that to refer to. And then what I found, because I haven't looked at it since 2005, I haven't looked at anything Cosmic Wars related. Once I pulled out I had to go read everything to get caught up again.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I missed the whole thing here, or I missed this, and I started adding. Then I added a few characters, like Whimsy's a character that I added to the series. Vrax and Growl, they're new characters that I added to the series. I designed them, which is crazy. I had all the concept illustrated characters that I was building, but I never gave them purpose or life because I stopped the project back then. So
Got it. Okay.
the main characters were done, but then I had another set of characters that I was working on for the future issues. It was actually going to be the third issue of Cosmic Wars, which was the Hero's Quest, and I never got to that far. And
Right.
so, because I started working on Designated in my toilet, and everything else just dropped, and I just focused on that project.
Well, my a question that just came to me while you were talking about that is how far for Cosmic Wars do you actually have it mapped out or scripted out?
I have it mapped out. If we had to say for issues, I
Yeah.
have it mapped out for maybe about 50.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay. That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
So
yeah.
this is going to be a long-term saga type of thing.
Yes, hopefully. Yes, that's my goal. My goal
Well,
is, wrap up Designated in my toilet, and then start, and then hopefully the feedback from Cosmic Wars is good. But my goal is to finish that project while I can.
perfect.
Yeah.
right? And my next question is actually kind of a two-part question. How do you engage with readers or fans of your work, either virtually or in person? And then, has there been any memorable fan interactions or reader feedback over the years that you can share with us?
Yeah, I mean, I love doing conventions and I love doing book signings at comic shops, and
Oh yeah, those are always a blast.
yes, I love going to schools and talking to students about the stuff. The best thing is when I get fan art.
Ooh,
Um,
oh yeah, fan
that is
art.
the best. I have a catalog of fan art, and it is
That's
the
cool.
biggest compliment I can ever get. And with or when you get one of the things that I was very impressed by, I got a letter from an editor for Marvel Comics of what's his name? I gotta remember his name, and very complimentary of Designated in My Toilet, the one I created, and said how much his son loved it and he loved reading it with him, and just a lot of great things, and this was an editor for Marvel Comics, right? So I thought that was pretty cool that a professional in the industry,
Yeah,
really enjoyed my project. So I think it comes in all shapes, from the kids when they light up when they see my work. Even now, it's if if I had the same amount of backers as I do from reposts, retweets, likes, and comments from my artwork, I my campaign would be off the charts, right?
right.
I get so many reposts and retweets and relikes or shares or and comments for the work, which I'm so appreciative because it shows me that I'm heading in the right direction. I'm doing the right things, and that's very flattering. And my goal now is to convert all of those people into readers.
Absolutely, that's the goal.
Yeah.
And so we do have a few more minutes here. So, on any of the viewers, if you have questions, go ahead and put them in the chat, and we'll ask Sam here in a couple minutes. But Sam, can you share with us any of your upcoming convention appearances as a guest or as a fan?
Yes, I'm doing LitCon, which is in Greenville, Texas. This is my third appearance. I did it 3 years in a row. It's done. It's at a library, and it brings in about 1,200.
Yes,
Yeah, I love those.
library shows are the best. They
It is
really are.
fantastic. It is fantastic. The people are amazing. The management team that runs it, they treat us, and it's all artists. There's nothing else but artists and creators, and not just comic books. And it's like anime creators, and there's like uh, sculptors, and I mean, it's a mix of creativity.
And fine
And
art, yeah.
yes, they treat us great, and the fan base there is amazing. So I love that show. It's a 1 day show, and then after that, I'm doing a book signing on Free Comic Book Day.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
the location I'm determining which one, because I got an invite to do different locations, but I can't split myself in half, so I got to pick one. Um, and so that's it for now, because I'm taking the spring and parts of the summer off to finish Designated in My Toilet, to get this out to everybody that backed the campaign. And then in the fall, I'll get back into the game with shows. But for me, the fuel that fills my tank is conventions and talking to people in the shows.
100%. You really get a really cool synergy of meeting people and meeting people who are really interested in a lot of the same things.
Yeah.
And you kind of hinted at this, but are there any hints, at least what you can talk about, of projects, Cosmic War and others that you're working on for the rest of this year?
Yeah, so Cosmic Wars is right now. The campaign's right now. There's an Alien in My Toilet launches at the end of this campaign. The pre-launch page will launch once we close out this campaign, but it'll kick off once everybody gets the stuff in the mail. So once that last package is shipped, then I launch Designated in My Toilet. But the pre-launch page will be up soon. And then for the fall, I am determining whether to do issue 9 of Designated in My Toilet or Cosmic Wars #1, because I'm starting with 0, or the Art of Duty book, which is a 200-page hardback. So right now
Ooh,
I'm on the
okay.
fence which one I go with first. But yeah, so those, I'm only doing 3 campaigns this year, and it's easier to do 3 than doing 4. I
Oh
don't know how
yeah.
I don't know how people do more, because it's a lot of work. But yeah, so that's what's going on there. And then I have some projects I'm doing. I'm doing a few covers this year that will come out with other independents. So
Nice.
yeah, so that's going on as well.
And then where can people find you and your work online? Where can they follow along?
Dutiesworld.com. And you can find me on social media at either Art of Samuel or Catch the Craze. Catch the Craze is with a DA, not a THE. So Catch the Craze. I'm on YouTube. I have an art channel on YouTube. I also have a Catch the Craze podcast on YouTube. And I'm on Instagram and X and MeWe. And I mean, just so many. I'm Substack and everywhere. So it's easy to find. Just type Catch the Craze or Art of Samuel and you'll find me. Or type in Designated in My Toilet or Cosmic Wars and you'll find me.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So my last question to close this out is an odd one but a fun one. Do you happen to have a favorite snack or a meal you can eat before you power through to work on some projects, or eat while, or whatever your preference is?
It might sound boring, but I love peanut butter and rice cakes.
Ooh, there we go.
Yeah. I mean, you can't go wrong with peanut butter, and it's a great way because it's filling, and it's a great snack, and it doesn't fill your belly. It doesn't make you feel bloated. It just good. I love peanut butter.
Me too. And actually, another question that just came on the top of my head is, you talked about it for a minute there for distribution. What is kind of your plans for physical distribution and digital distribution for your stuff going forward?
So physical distribution, I'm using Ingram Sparks for
Yep.
nationwide print-on-demand distribution. Word of advice to everybody else who's used any national print-on-demand distributor. While they get your information into their database with your ISBN number and all that stuff so that the librarians and the bookstores can order, you got to contact the bookstores and all these people so that they know you exist. So one of the things, so get on the phone, find out who the buyers are and call them up, send them a free sample and say, hey, I'd love for you to pick this up for your store. So that's the next hustle, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So so it's going to be for that, but you can always get it on my website, dutiesworld.com. And then there'll be a lot of, I'm working on Amazon.com, a lot of coloring books for Designated in My Toilet and Cosmic Wars. So that'll be coming out this fall on time for Christmas. So look out for that.
And then is there any possibility of getting like digital editions on Kindle and everything like that, or even like library platforms too?
Yes. Yeah.
So
that'll be available through Amazon as well.
Oh, perfect. There we go. So this is really the end of our conversation. It's been great. Has there been any last thoughts you'd like to share with the viewers before we head out?
No, thank you for the time today. And if you even thinking about creating something, just do it. Just do it. Don't worry about the opinions. Everybody has his opinion. I was told that when I started drawing, my heads were too big and my anatomy sucked. And why is my eye down here when it's supposed to be up here, right? But I just kept working, right? And it's just like fitness, right? You know, you go to the gym the first time, you're not going to see the results. You're going to feel it the next day, right? But you got to keep going back and keep going back and keep going, and then you sharpen your tools. So I only got better because I draw every single chance I get, right? And I'm not where I want to be, right? So I'm aspiring to be better tomorrow than I was today. So keep drawing. Don't worry about opinions. Everybody has one. You can't please everybody. But as long as you're happy doing what you're doing, keep doing it.
Can't say it better myself. Well, Sam, it's been a pleasure talking to you today. Thank you once again for coming on and taking time out of your schedule. I know not everyone can come on a Sunday, but thank you again for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, everyone. This has been Comics for All. Thank you for joining us. We actually had a pretty decent audience this entire time, so thank you for joining us on a Sunday in particular. This has been Comics for All, so we'll see you next time. Take care.